This is, all right. Howdy all, it's the chairman of the board coming at you live from the Never Summer Factory during our first annual virtual open house. So we're gonna go on a complete tour. We've all been locked up and missing the spring riding. We're getting just so amped to be able to shred for next year, but we're building boards today. So we got our factory running, half staff. We're going to go through the entire process from the wood cores to building a board to all printing top sheets and finishing. I got the Nicks with me, Nick Larson, team rider extraordinaire, and Nick Workenthane, our Rocky Mountain sales rep. So if you have any questions, we're going to try to answer as many questions as we can, a couple of questions on any of the process or anything else you'd like to ask along the way. So yeah, welcome. Just follow me out. It's like Willy Wonka for snowboarders. We're going to follow the yellow brick road here. We're getting all our international orders going here, so they're crating those up. And then we're building all of our 2020-21 line. So you'll be able to see all our new harpoons, proto-synthesis, all the new boards being made. We have our own wood shop, so we can really tailor and customize the flex pattern of our wood cores for that, you know, that type of board, fun slinger with the softer press flex core to a stiffer core like the East. So we can do all the wood cores here in-house, and then not only do we do all our wood cores, but we make all the tooling as well out of wood. So we make mold sets, side cut templates, a lot of things out of the wood. So having our own wood shop really gives us a step up against our competitors. Yeah.
So
what's up?
At McNarly asked, how many boards don't make it through the process and become duds or factory seconds is what we call them.
Yeah, right on, McNarly. Good question. We have a really low seconds rate. Those are cosmetic blems, things like that. We usually have a program for instructors, or we use them for demos, things like that. It's less than 2% off of those. So those are fully rideable boards. They're cosmetic. On a junk board, something that's a warped, twisted, things like that, it's about 1%. The reason we can have such a low seconds and third rate is that we have managers in every section, so they're overseeing the quality along the way, and then we're inspecting every single board straight out of the press, so we don't have 30 of those. And then we go through a final inspection, a 20-point inspection, to make sure all the boards going to our retailers are first quality. And yeah, you can see all the materials. We're getting all our materials stocked for next year: sidewalls, wood core blocks, and a lot of bases. So all our boards start out as a block like this. This block here represents 8 boards. So in about 5 days' time, these are going to be 8 proto-synthesis. Our first step is we cut the side cut radius in the block, and we're going to show you right over here. Phil's going to be cutting that radius in a block right now. And then what we do is we cut the side wall material to the width and glue that on. So we pioneered the Polyethylene Sidewall, or PTEX Sidewall, in 1991. It's going to bend and not break. We can also modify wood core blocks, make them wider, things like that for our drag-free boards. The drag-free series is great for that size 12 and above, and we can make the core blocks wider. So Phil is going to cut the side cut radius into the block right here. So he's clamped the side cut template, which we make here in-house, onto the block, and now he's going to cut the radius into it. That's one side. We got Gamaro over here overseeing it. He manages the wood shop. He has 25 plus years experience here at Never Summer. There it is. Now he's going to shape the block, smooth it out. Here's a router, kind of make it nice and smooth, so when we're attaching the sidewall to it, it's going to adhere real well.
Blade is worth the $1 blade I've ever used.
Yeah.
It makes some noise.
Right on. Thanks, Bill. Yeah.
So, at Taurus 2.
Okay.
You got a question?
Hey, what's up, Taurus 2?
Hey,
A little noisy.
so at Taurus 2 asked, what kind of qualifications does someone need to work at the factory like this?
Oh yeah, Taurus 2. Basically, we have a lot of people that come to the factory that have had experience working in shops, so they've ran snowboard grinders and things like that. And then other people like Phil, they've just been trained by seasoned employees like Gamaro for some time before they're, set loose and have able to, cut their own block. And you can see right here is the sidewall material. It's been glued on. And this is actually a split board. So we've cut the block in half and attached the center sidewall. So that'll be each ski. And when it comes together, so that the split boards are cut twice. Core blocks cut once, and then they're cut when they're finished. So the next step is right over here, and Gamaro's going to drill out. So he's got the jig for the drill set to the width. And he's going to drill the holes out and countersink the bottom of the hole. So you can see that's the bottom of the core. They're all countersunk out, and that would be the top. Now we don't want to have the cores this thick. It would ride like a plank. We want to create a flex pattern into the wood, and we're going to do that on these machines over here, which are programmable side sander. So we have the program for this model, the design for the flex pattern of this Snow Trooper 156 snowboard set into the computer to the millimeter, the 100,000th inch. So it's going to taper the core to get the exact flex you want for that model, which is a mid-flex Snow Trooper board. And it is remarkable how much material that it takes off the board. So this would be a tapered core, so that's going to get it the flex you want. It's really thin out to the ends of the board to adjust the contours. Gets thicker underneath the binding, a little thinner in the center of the board, and then out to the ends of the board. So the next step, we're going to be cutting the snow trooper's nose and tail shape. All right, this next area is core and material prep. So Pablo manages this area. He'll train new employees and he'll also oversee the quality. So what Pablo is doing here is he's attaching what we call the tip fill. So that's the P-Tex tip fill that provides that protection around the end of the board and also seals up the whole wood core. So before that, he's also cut the shape of the nose. This is the westbound. I can tell by the kind of the shape and then also the red sidewalls and tip fill. And then Pablo also cut material to length. So he's cutting fiberglass to length, he's cutting carbon fiber to length and rubber to length for that particular model. And then he'll cut it, some of it to shape too. He's got the board mapped out at the center line of the board. He's got the carbon V's mapped out. So the carbon V is an innovation that came directly out of Never Summer in 99, 2000, to where we're running the carbon out to the ends of the board, stabilize the end of the board there, give you some pop and snap. And then the V's also run from the inserts out to the contact points. So that's going to transfer your energy really quick for that edge-to-edge response, get you up on edge really quick, and it's also going to stiffen the board out to the ends of the board so it holds really well into a turn and then out of a turn. So he's got that mapped out so when they're building the board they know exactly where to place it. So carbon doesn't feel like much, but obviously they can make a fighter plane out of this. Once it's glued up, it becomes stiff, really strong, adds to the performance and durability of the board without adding the extra weight. Thank you, Pablo. And then right next to it, we're going to do the base of the board. So what we're doing is cutting out the die cuts. Obviously our iconic eagle die. We got a new die, new logo with the full ring around the eagle instead of the segmented rings. So what he's doing, he's cutting out these yellow pieces and the black pieces. So we're going to do flips. The black piece is going to go into the yellow, and then the yellow piece will go into the black base right here. That way we're using all the material and not wasting anything. So the die cuts are how we install the die cuts. We'll do that over on these tables over here, and I can show you that. So basically the die cuts are installed like this on these vacuum tables. So they'll set the base onto the table, start the shop vac. It's going to suck the pieces in place, hold them from slipping, and then we're going to take a roller and just like a puzzle, just roll the dies into place, and then we tape over them because like a puzzle, when you lift it up, they would fall out. We want to keep them nice and flush so they're taped over. The next step to the base is we're going to cut the shape of the base out. So we have templates made for that shape. I believe this is the Ultra Proto. And we'd have a shape for the new Ultra Proto Synthesis, and we cut the shape of the base out. And then the next steps would be to bend the edge and attach the edge. So we'll go show you how we bend and attach an edge to the base. So if you look at the bases, there's over 6 steps to make one of our bases. Got a bunch of different bases lined up here. Yeah, Swifts, big guns, westbounds. And then we bend the edges over here. So this is a programmable edge bender. This is capital improvements when we moved over here 9 years ago. And we'll program that model's shape, side cut radius into the computer, and it'll bend the edge to that shape. But the edges still have to be hand bent around the contours of the nose and tail, and then we'll attach the metal edge to the shape of the board. So this helped us out as far as our R&D and really progressing with our shapes and designs over the years. So we got Grant here, bending the edge. You show me your pliers, Grant. So what he'll do is take a modified pair of pliers and bend around to the contour of the shape. This is the new harpoon with that nice glow off the snow, bright orange base, white shaper logo. And then you'll cut the edge. It's a full wrap steel edge, but it has to meet somewhere. This place would be on the tail. So he's going to mark it, line it up, cut it, so it's a nice tight connection. The base is set on the template of the harpoon shape. That'll give him a template to bend the edge around with it, and then we'll clamp it into place like that. Hold it together, and then we're going to super glue it in place. So this adds to the durability of a Never Summer snowboard, and it keeps the base tight to the edge when we're pressing it together. When you're pressing things together, it's like you're stepping on something or smashing someone's hand. It always wants to expand. So this is going to keep the edge nice and tight to the base. Nice work, man. He's anxious to ride this board. I had the pleasure of riding the Harpoon. It's one of my favorite boards. I love it.
A lot of people wonder, would you rather that board be a little bigger, or would you size it smaller for a person?
I size it a little bit. I size a little bit down on the Harpoon. I generally ride boards in the 61, 62 range. I've been riding the 59 Harpoon. It still has the stability in that longer turn, but gives you that, you know, nice nimble feel of the shorter board.
I totally agree. I love my 156.
Yeah.
So I go a little bit smaller.
Absolutely. So at this point, we have the edges, the base is done, edges installed, we have the cores done, all the materials cut. We have the top sheets sublimated and printed, which we're going to show you that whole process at the end of the tour. And now we can build the board. So this is what we call layup. It's like making a sandwich. You have your two plastic pieces, your base and the top sheet is the bread, the wood core is the meat. You have layers of glue, fiberglass, carbon fiber, rubber between each layer, and it's sandwiched together with heat and pressure. So right over here is the cassette for the board. Yeah, you can see there's a cassette, which is the cavity of that board shape. So the base is going to fit right into that cassette, and what that does is it keeps the core from slipping to the base. It's like a form. So John's a former team rider. He's one of the production managers back here. He oversees all the layup and pressing of the boards. He's cleaning off the base right there, and what he's going to do is spray some adhesive on that cassette, and then he's going to stick that base to it. That way it keeps, like I said, keeps it from slipping apart from each other when we're pressing it together. So once he has that done, we'll come over here. We got all the materials all ready to go. And we got Jeff, aka the Mountain Surfer, one of our seasoned board builders here, is going to lay up a 2020-21 Infinity. So he's starting with the top sheet. We have the top sheet all printed, sublimated, ready to go. He's got his wood cores up here fiberglass, inserts, rubber, carbon, everything ready to go. So just gonna prep all the core here, get it all glued up. So you can see that whole cup of glue. You know, a lot of glue in the boards. You know, that's a good percentage of the weight is in glue, really. He's got, this is the bottom of the core, so he's going to pound the inserts into the core. First two inserts he started with, Jeff would have put little magnetic stickers on them. So that way we can locate them, because they're going to be covered with fiberglass and the top sheet. And we have to locate and drill out the inserts. All the inserts are capped so no glue gets inside of them. So they'll all need to be drilled out. I'm gonna get them all set, pound them in. Now there's a little bit of rubber. So these are Elastomeric Underfoot stabilizers. This is going to take a lot of that vibration out of your feet and really help bond too. The rubber always ties back with the durability, because that metal is not going to want to stick to the base that well in the fiberglass, so that rubber is going to give it a little barrier, but it's really going to take out a lot of that vibration. Same with these moons right here. So Jeff is just prepping them right now. He'll glue them up and then he'll position them around the ends of the board. So those rubber will take out a lot of that flutter in the nose and tail and along the effective edge. We have different dampening systems for different models. So this is our rubber dampening system 2, which is for more of an all-mountain board. So it's a little more dampening than you'd find in, say, a freestyle board like the Protos Slinger, Dipstick. But a little less than like in a free ride board like the Swift Big Gun. So there's a little bit narrower rubber strips in that to make it damp but not stuck to the snow and still lively feeling, lightweight. Here's the first layer of biax fiberglass. Jeff's getting that all glued up. He's making this look easy. If you've ever seen me do this, I have you know, rubber stuck to my head and pieces of fiberglass all over. It's a mess. So I let a pros build my board like Jeff, you know, here. So yeah, he makes it look easy for sure. Yep.
Well, we have one customer asking why we stopped making longboards.
Oh yeah, the longboards. We want to bring the longboards back in more of a limited kind of runs of it. So the reason we stopped it is the market kind of dropped off on longboarding a bit, and then we had a lot of investment in trucks, wheels, things that we didn't make. So it just it was a matter of just the economics and the demand, you know. Yeah, and they last forever, right? But yeah, we definitely look, keep an eye out, because we definitely want to bring some longboards back in limited run. I love longboarding. I think it's great cross training for snowboarding, for sure. So Jeff's grabbing some more glue. You can see he's got a board actually up in the press here. That top mold set is, you can see the top mold has these springs, this air bladder fills full of compressed air with 180 degrees circulating through it. And it's pushing down onto this. This is our original rocker camber, so more rocker in the center of the board to camber to the kick plate. So it's pushing down on that, and it's going to press the rocker camber profile on the board, and then the glue's heat activated. So we're pressing the boards at around 180 degrees for about 19 minutes. The glue will cure under the heat in that 19 minutes, so they're fully formed straight out of the press. We'll let them cool for a little bit before we keep working on them. So Jeff's got his glue ready. And and we'll continue building this board. We have a lot of avid snowboarders here at Never Summer. We can use Jeff. Jeff has tested a lot of prototypes board. He's a real avid split boarder. So we can get guys that build the boards out there testing them and give us the feedback, you know, that we need. So this first layer of rubber is really important the way a Never Summer rides, and it sets a Never Summer snowboard apart from other boards too, because it's all the boards we make have a layer of rubber, perimeter layer of rubber around the edge. So that's going to really take out a lot of that vibration, smooth out that ride in variable conditions and on hard snow, but it's also going to help with the bonding. Because the boards are pressed at a higher temperature, it's going to melt that rubber. The rubber's really going to make a barrier for it to bond to the sidewall of the board. So even with the board that's been bashed in on the side, cracked edges, it's still sealed around the damage. So you can still ride it and not have a lot of water penetrate the board. So this is something that's made Never Summer boards give it a signature damp ride, but also adds to the durability. So Jeff knows pretty much the right amount of glue that needs to be laid down there. Now he's laying that first layer of the biaxial fiberglass. So it's a lighter weight fiberglass, and it's also, you know, fiberglass adds immensely to the performance of a snowboard. So it's going to add a lot of spring and snap to the board, durability, still allow the board to flex. So like you saw where Pablo had mapped it out, we have the carbon VXR mapped out for Jeff. He's got all his inserts, and now he's pounding the core into the cassette or the cavity of that board's shape so it doesn't slip when it's being pressed. So obviously we're building all our 2021 line. After the tour this afternoon, we're going to do a Q&A on all the newer boards as well, so stay tuned for that. So you can see a lot of rubber into the board. So you know, all the boards have pretty much 3 layers of rubber. The amount of rubber, the thickness of the stringers is going to change for the dampening system to a different model. Yo.
Allie loved the limited edition Lady West with the Columbines.
Oh yeah, nice, thanks. That was my inspiration, you know. Jeremy Sawyer put it all together, our graphic designer, but I wanted that board done with the Colorado Eagle and the Columbine.
Are they still available, or are they coming back?
Those are, that was a limited run, so we plan on bringing the graphic back. It probably won't be on a Lady West, but look for it on another model.
Available.
Oh yeah. So Jeff's trimming off that carbon so there's no excess carbon left into the board. The carbon, we don't want to alter the flex pattern of the board, so he's trimming that up, because obviously when that carbon becomes hard and glued, it becomes really hard to cut through and then really stiff, so we don't want to alter the flex pattern. You have these V's out to the end of the board, give you some stability out to the nose, a lot of spring and snap off of the nose and tail, and then also the V's that run out to those main contact points to really torsionally stiffen up the board so it holds into that turn and out of the turn. Here's the final layer of fiberglass. So Jeff's going to make sure that's really tight. There's no folds or anything like that that is going to show up. So he's taking his time to do that and to center it. There it is. Smooth that out. And now the top sheet. So Jeff's checking the center line, making sure it's top sheet's right side up, because there is a tip and a tail. So and he's cleaning off the top sheet. That way there's no excess glue stuck to it or anything that's going to make a dent on the top of the board. This is the top lid. It's going to lock together with the bottom cassette, or the cavity of the board shape. That's going to hold everything together and put a nice, clean, even press down the board. Again, cleaning that up, you'll be able to see him put into the press. Lining it up, starting the press here. So he starts the press. You can look over here and see it's got 18 minutes and 20 some seconds, and the board's at what, about 180 degrees to press. So it's going to sit in there for that 18 minutes, press all those material together, cure the glue really fast, and then the board's ready to be the next, the finishing step. So thanks, Jeff. Nice job, as always. Board's taken out of the press, and this is one of our first grading areas. So John's been here for a long time. How long, John? You've been working here Never Summer?
For the company.
Well, just for the company. And then
This is my 13th employed year.
13th year, but then he was a team rider for years before that. So John's inspecting the board, so he's going over and looking for any kind of structural flaws in the board, potential cosmetics. So this is one of our first major grading areas, and John would go through every board that Jeff's making today. So we inspect every single board straight out of the press. That way we don't have, 30 boards with issues. You see the glue's already hardened, so it's pretty much cured, but we want to let it cool for a little while over here. So we'll set them on cooling racks. The new proto-synthesis here. We'll let it cool for a while and the fiberglass to kind of cure before we start the rest of the finishing steps. So this board was actually built yesterday on the 8th. Bob made it. It's a 155 proto-synthesis, and it was the 35th board we made. So there's a lot of finishing steps. We got to cut the board out. We're going to do that. We're going to top sand, smooth everything out. Going to drill out all the inserts. And then the rest of the finishing steps. So generally from a block of wood to a finished board, it's around 5 days. So there's 2 days building the cores, bases, a day pressing the board, and then a couple days over here in finishing. Howdy, Chris. This is Chris, Leah. Another avid snowboarder here. He's been with Never Summer for a long time. He works over here and cut and finish. So Chris is going to use the edge as a guide, and with the bandsaw and a lot of skill, he's going to cut off the excess or the flashing.
factory seconds again? You want it, or you just want us to answer that on here?
Yeah, I can answer it.
I got kicked off before I could reply.
Yeah, we can, when we go over to John's, I'll answer it. Okay, so now what Chris is doing is he's doing what we call tipping it. So he's taking a jigsaw, cutting the rest off. Nice. So there's 6 steps right back in here. You have cut, tip, we have drill. We're going to drill the inserts out right over here. What's up? Yeah, let me see that. So basically, what Oscar's going to do is he's going to find that magnetized insert right there. So the board builder, who has built this? Bob built this board, so Bob would have put magnetic stickers on it so we can locate the inserts. And then we're going to drill them out. So drill out the 2 magnetic inserts, gonna screw the jig down. Like that. So this jig is an example of a lot of tooling that was made here, designed for this. Nice job. And the board's taken over here, and we're going to top sand it. So basically, we take a little dyno glide, smooth out that rough cut, put a nice bevel on it so it doesn't chip so easy, edges rolled off, and then we'll grind the edges right over here. So you can see all the steps just in this small area. Okay. Yeah, we had a question about some of the material, you know, like the flashing, what we're cutting off on that. We've actually been working with this company that's trying to recycle that into decking material. So the next steps is we're going to base grind. So there's a lot of excess glue all over the bottom of these boards, and we're going to want to get that off, put a nice factory finish on it. So we got Marco. Again, Marco, we have a lot of people with so many years experience, and we got Marco, and what he's doing, we use 4 different belts. So we start with a really coarse belt to get all that glue off, an 80 grit, and then we move up to a 120, and then we do a 150, and then a 220, really fine. So we put a nice smooth finish on the board and grinding off all that excess glue. So this is super rough, so obviously it needs to go through the finer finishing belts. You can see over here, starting to get a lot smoother to the touch. So. The boards will move along the line over here where they're dried off. So Chris has got a rack. He's squeegeed off, dried the boards off, and now we're gonna put a wax on it. So we use a all temperature 1-ball wax. We love 1-ball, and we'll put a thin coat of wax It lasts, you know, for a few days, but you'll want to, definitely a hot wax will penetrate the base a little bit better. We'll put a thin coat of wax on with the roller, and then we're going to buff it out with the Scotch-Brite belt to put a really nice glossy glide to it. The women proto-synthesis, working on that, and then some rip saws. And then the boards, once they have them waxed and buffed, they'll take them over here to John. And what John's doing is he's going through a 20-point inspection. So we had another person ask, you know, what is a flawed board? What do we do with them? Things like that. So John's he's got a really good eye. He's looking at insert height right here. He'll look for any kind of cosmetic things. Those are the most common things, or top dents, base dents. You see that, and then we separate those into, you know, from first quality boards that we're going to be selling off of our website or at an authorized Never Summer dealer to a second. It's still a rideable board, but that's something we'll use for demos. Shops will use them for rentals, or we have a program for instructors. So John's looking at material alignment while he's cleaning off all the excess wax. So he's carefully going over that board. And then what he's going to do is we put a protective tape over the top sheet. That way no glue gets stuck to it, it doesn't get scratched during the manufacturing process. We're going to peel that. Peel the protective tape off. It almost does a ghost sublimation. You kind of see some of the colors and the logo come off of the tape. And then what John's going to do is he's going to smooth out. It's still, we've top sanded it, but it's still a little rough. So he's going to take a razor blade, smooth that out by hand. Yep.
Somebody's asking, how do we select the artwork for the boards?
Oh man, that's a lengthy process. So our graphic designer, Jeremy Sawyer, will have a kind of some themes and concepts going for the graphics, and he'll do a mix. You know, he'll do 5-10 different designs that'll go through the owners of the company. You know, a round table with the sales reps, some of the other designers, employees, retailers will have a hand in it, distributors, team writers. So we go through a lot of people, and end consumers, we always reach out to people and see what they're looking for. So if you have any suggestions, you know, please let us know. We'd love to hear it. Thanks, John. Nice. So this is ready to go. You'll see this, the women's proto-synthesis, out August 1st. We'll launch the new line, so you'll see those available then. But go to our website right now, because for the open house, we have a lot of our demo boards on sale. We have some specialty boards. We build boards for a school. 100% of the 100% of the proceeds, sorry, can't talk, go to Warren Tech, technical school here in Colorado. So we donate all that, and those are designs from the students themselves. So there's a lot of interesting stuff up on our website right now, so go and check that out. So right over here is our little split section. This is Bentley Blejo.
Hey.
One of the most knowledgeable people in split boarding. He's been building split boards since one of the first companies to do it. One of the first people after the Volet DIY kit came out. Bentley started building production boards here in Never Summer in 2000. So he's got that 20 years experience. He does all the cut, finishing, and the mounting of the hardware, the hooks and clips that secure the board together. Every single split board, Bentley does those. So right now he's doing like John did, smoothing out that top, and now he's going to mount the hooks up. Okay, yep, show him that. So we're using the new Phantom Hercules hooks. So Bentley's going to set them.
Final adjustment here. Just cranking this one where it gets snug. And then this one meet right up with it. And then finish these guys off.
So we got a long history in split boarding here at Never Summer, and we got, you know, the master doing finishing every single board here. Amazing. Every single insert would have been hand drilled out too. There. Nice secure connection already without even the tip clips. So the next thing he'll be mounting the tip clips up. Thanks, Bentley.
You bet.
All right. Okay, this is a super cool process here and part of the factory. Yeah, in about 2008, we bought all the printers, built presses, set up to do this in-house. We used to, you know, contract out companies to do the sublimation and printing. So having complete control over it, the process, we can really make sure we ensure the quality, and then we can actually do test prints, see how it comes out, show it to our graphic designer, make sure all the colors. So we're printing these ripsaws in groups of 3. You can see the ripsaw, all the files are set in the computer right there, and it's printing it out on a clay-based paper. We use water-based inks. The water-based inks allow it to release off of the paper and into the top sheet material. So you can see it's a reverse image. So once this is cut, we'll flip it over on the top sheet material and it'll be right side up. So the sublimation is done right over here, and that's done with heat and pressure as well. We got the Chris's here. Chris Davis, Chris Winchell. Chris is cleaning off, brushing off that, and he's going to flip it over on top of the top sheet material. Here's our signature Carbonium material. It's a thermoplastic, or PBT, polybutylene. It's molecular in structure, and so it actually is porous, so under heat it opens up to accept the inks and images. So it's not transferring the graphic onto the material, but it's transferring it into the material, so that way it doesn't get scratched off. And it really brings the colors out. So he's putting that over there in the press. They'll get all the temperatures set. It's at, looks like 355 degrees, yes, Chris, for a little over a minute, 15 seconds. So yeah, we'll show you that when he pulls that out, and you'll be able to see how much of those colors really pop off. Do you have a used up one, Chris? And show them.
Oh, let's see what we got down here.
You're doing these are Proto Ultra.
I just have a Proto one down here for now, but
That one's coming out
got a
in
couple
30
seconds
seconds.
let's see if I can find one in here.
So yeah, it's amazing how much of those inks it sucks out of the material, and it's also astonishing how it really pops these colors. You know, you can't see these reds and blues as well. And Chris will show you, right, this one's almost coming out of the press here. There it is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So yeah, here you go. Really shows you, you know, how much it took out of that. Just sucked a ton of those inks out of that, and then it really, really pops those colors out. I'm going to put it over here into these trays, flatten it out, let it cool. That way it doesn't roll up onto itself, stick back together. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, we got a team of experts here. Team writer extraordinaire, Nick Larson, And then Nick, yeah, working on a Rocky Mountain rep. So myself, happy to answer any questions you have.
Tony was wondering how many boards a single person in the factory will work on in a single day.
Yeah, great question, Tony. A board builder, a seasoned builder like Jeff can build 35 boards in an 8-hour shift. So there's over 40 major steps, and 40 different people are going to touch, your board for sure.
Quality control.
That's right. This is actually Nick right up here, Loveland. So we use, team riders like Nick to do, obviously a lot of the, R&D, and Nick was out there testing some of the new Shaper series and instantly fell in love with it. I was laying it out. You remember which board? Remember?
That was the Mavericks on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But all the Shaper series are like my favorite boards out of the whole line, basically.
What board are you going to be riding next season, Nick?
I was riding the Harpoon a lot this year. The Harpoon was my go-to.
Uh-huh.
Just surfy. I rode a 156, so it was like
A little shorter
smaller
than you used to
than
ride.
I normally ride. Yeah, I usually ride like a 160. So
Yeah.
a little downside.
You're riding the
but
65 big gun too, I noticed
I
that.
did ride the 65 big gun. That one I like to go with 69 though. 69.
69, yeah.
Jam with this big gun. Love
Hell
that.
yeah. Go big or go home. All right. Cool. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the tour. Keep tuned because we got some repair clinics coming up, both base and tops, with Justin Juice Blejo. He's been here for over 20 years, been repairing boards. He's one of the best in the nation, if not the world, at repairing boards. So he's going to give some really good tips. We're going to do some other clinics. We're going to do a Q&A on a 2021 line. So stay tuned.